Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Friday night, Texas sky. We lit, house packed out, whole town in it. Pace crash hard, heartbeat sink. This that show that make you think. Under them lights, we don't play, we ball. From the small town fields to the big state calls. We talk rivalries, legends, up next kings. Breakdowns, hot takes, all them rings. Turn it up, don't miss this drive. Texas high school dreams so loud, so loud, so loud. You tune in now, right that way. This the part they crave every Friday. Welcome to the show where the big hits roll. Texas under lights, we talk hard, we talk soul. From the first snap high to the last play glow. It's Friday night, lights, let's go. Woo! Let's get old, let's get old, hey. Let's get old, let's get old, let's get old, hey. Woo!
All right, welcome back. We've got another great podcast episode here for you guys. This is episode 5, part 2 of our recruiting podcast that we're highlighting some of the local talent across the state of Texas. I'm really excited about tonight's guest. We have Mr. Anthony Williams here with us tonight. RL, why don't you tell us a little bit about Mr. Williams?
Well, anybody that knows anything about Texas high school football or high school football, period, college recruiting, knows who this man is. I am pleased to say that he is a friend, a man of God, and that's what I love about this man. He's also the associated with FBU, the All-American Game, Under Armour, everything, dealing with anything. You know this man. So, Anthony, I want to introduce you. I thank you so much for being with us here on the podcast Between the Hashes. And if you would tell the people a little bit about yourself and your what you've been into.
Oh, hey guys, I appreciate you having me on. Looking forward to this. Thanks for the invite to come on and talk about things I'm passionate about. So I'm very appreciative. For those of you that may or may not know me about all that, Anthony Williams. I'm based out of Round Rock, Texas. Former linebacker in high school and college. Cup of coffee in the league with the Niners back in the day. Coached for many years at the high school and college level out in California. My oldest son, Aaron, played at the University of Texas, turned 7. My wife said, it's time for you to start coaching your kids instead of other people's kids. So I really went from coaching college football to coaching Pop Warner. Been around after I got done coaching when Aaron went on and played in the league. I got involved, like you said, with Football University, great organization based out of Naples, Florida. Armour based out of Massachusetts. Navy All-American Combine, that game used to be the Army game down in San Antonio, showcasing all the talent across the country. I've been blessed. I'm the director of player personnel for a lot of different national events. Have developed these great relationships like with RL, my buddy here, and with the same focus. My circle is tight because I'm only be around people who are trying to have a positive impact on student athletes of all sports, not just football, and not those who are trying to use them to grease their pockets or put notches in their belt. So as I told RL and I told you, Maccabee, I'm here to tell the parents and players what they need to hear in this ever-changing landscape, and not what they want to hear, because there's plenty of people in this market that would tell them what they want to hear. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely, and we really appreciate it because, as you mentioned, this landscape of high school football recruiting and college football, it is changing by the second, it seems like. So we really appreciate your time, value you as a person, and just so thankful that you're available tonight to join us. So, Ariel, man, I'll let you kick it off with some questions.
Okay, and like you said, you know how I am, and you're the same way. I want straight shooters. I want these parents and stuff to know when we asking these questions, this man is giving you his professional opinion. And if you want to take heed to anything, you would listen to what this man has got to say. First question I have for you, sir, is with camp season right around the corner, what advice would you give a parent trying to decide on which camps an athlete should attend?
It's a great question, and one to get a lot with a company that formed with some good friends of mine with Connected Athletics. It's probably one of the number one questions. So we believe in the BDA process. The BDA process is what do you do before, during, and after a camp visit? So I'll take it from that aspect. The first thing that parents are putting to understand is, were you truly invited to the camp? It's just like your parents, for the kids that are out there listening, we all get junk mail. Somebody gave them our address without our permission, and we get advertisements for plumbing and roofing and landscaping. So be aware of that first. Like if you're not invited, you have to go out there and you have to show out. How you know you were invited is if you got a text, an email.
Yes.
And by the time the season rolls around in August, they're exhausted.
They're tired.
And they've got little soft tissue issues, my wrist, my ankle, my shoulder. And the last thing any high school coach, as a former high school coach, will tell you, I want my kids to come to camp fresh and excited about the upcoming season. And with all the 7-on-7 and all the camps that are going on, there is a fine balance that every parent and player should be aware of how many men to go to, before I shut it down, let my body get some rest, and then move on and ready for my high school season. So look, those 2 things out of the way. Number 1, players should have a list of colleges that they are interested in. I always tell parents, you want to work the process like coaches look at it. When I was a college coach, okay, I have this many positions available for a scholarship. I'm looking at, if I'm looking for 3 quarterbacks, for example, I'm going to recruit probably 50 and then get that 50 down to 25 and then down to 15 and then down to 10. Off of those 10, hopefully I get the 3 that I need to help me keep my job and win games. That's how they look at it. So I always tell parents, you should look at it and use that same process. Use that best technique, best tip to do the same thing. Have your kids sit down and based on where they want to go to school, who has their major. Don't base it on what uniform combinations and what bowl game they went to. Keep it real, because at the end of the day, and you are keep referencing you. We have talked many times aside. This is a 40-year decision, not a 4 or 3 or 4 year decision, depending on how talented you are. So make sure you factor in. Don't go to a school that doesn't have a major. Then you're going to end up majoring in music appreciation, like back in the day. And you're going to come out of the college with a faith degree. And when football is over, keeping it real, it will come to an end one day, and you don't have a real degree, you're going to struggle in life because you don't have a real skill, whether it's technology or engineering or nursing or being a doctor or being a coach, whatever it is. So I warn parents and players, don't get caught up so much in that D1 or plus attitude. Find a school that's got the right academics that meet your son's needs. Wherever it is, go ball out, and then use the transfer portal to your advantage down the road. That's number 3. I'll finish with the last one here because if they'll on the list. Make sure that before you get to the camp, you are contacting the coach. Whoever your position coach is, or whoever the coach is that recruits your area. Go to the website, and if you have to, old school like me and RL and Matt be here, call the school, the football program's admin. Hey, Miss So-and-so, who recruits San Antonio? That's our wide receivers coach, Coach Williams. Contact him, because it all starts with him. If he doesn't give you the green light, the thumbs up, you're not moving forward on the board at all. Once you do that, contact the coach before you get there. Hey, coach, is there any chance? I'm really looking forward to being at the camp on Saturday. Any chance for me and my dad come by on Friday? I'd love to kind of sit down and talk with you about your program, how I see myself fit in, and maybe get a tour of the facilities, because everybody at the camp is not getting that. Right away, the coach goes, we're going to have 400 players here, and 3 of them, obviously, example, 3 of them have called me and asked me to come in. Any coach worth his salt does not want to miss on a top prospect. And if you call him, you just know if you're a 5-star or no star, but it's his job to not miss on me, because he does, then the head coach will be him sideline going, how did this kid not commit to us? Call the coach, ask for some type of visit, not a long one, 30 minutes, whatever. That's before. Also before, and this is kind of an easy, strange one, but I tell my clients, dress appropriately.
Yes.
I go to many events where kids are walking in pajama bottoms and crops, hair and home
slides, and yes.
This is your first impression you want of the staff to have of you. So I'm not saying you gotta wear a suit, and I'm not saying you gotta wear a tie, but have on some nice jeans. Have on hopefully your school shirt or that school shirt in some way. Recognize that, hey, that I'm here. Make sure you're groomed, obviously, and practice your elevator pitch. If you are not comfortable walking up to Coach RL at a camp visit and give him your 30-second elevator pitch. Hey, Coach RL, my name's Anthony Williams. I'm a class 28 linebacker from Cedar Ridge High School in the Round Rock area. Let me tell you why I'm so interested in the program, not just from an athletic standpoint, but from an academic standpoint, because when football's over, I'm going to be an engineer, and I'm going to be working with the next generation of companies who build AI chips. But that's another story, Coach. I want to make sure I understand how I fit in your program, how I understand what you're looking for, to make sure that we're on the same page going forward. If we can do that, I'd love to learn more about your university, your program, and the academics. If you go up to a coach before the camp even starts and tell him that, and you know, at the end of camp, so everybody knows, coaches get together and they go, hey, RL, what did you see? Now the kids being quiet, and the ones over here, anybody pop, kids are warm, they look good, there's a post-meeting. And what coaches usually talk about is, yeah, there are a lot of kids there, I have about 75 linebackers there, but there was this one kid, Anthony Williams, coach, he walked up, looked me in the eye, gave me a firm handshake, told me what his goals were, told me he wanted to know more about our program, about how we work on defense side of the ball. I like that kid. That's somebody we keep on. Boom, Anthony Williams on board now. All the other kids that go, perform, put it down, like, yeah, somebody will call me, and then go home and post up, I chilled at the UTSA camp. That's not how it works. So that's the before. We ain't even gotten to camp yet. Now let's go during. You get to camp. I always tell kids, wear something that stands out. Pink cleats, yellow gloves, whatever it is. But make sure when you do that you're going to ball out. Because there'll be a lot of kids there with white clicks on and they making the catches. But you want to be able to go, the coach, we're not going to let kid's name. Coach, I forget the kid's name. But, oh, there he is. It's green cleats. The kid at the linebacker position. Hey, Coach, watch this. This. So do something before you start your first rep, before you can do a dynamic stretch. Something that stands out so it's easy for the coach to go, that must have been what the coach Earl was talking about. Yeah, there's a kid with those peak cleats over there, and he's killing it. He's got great feet, great hits, whatever it is. So that's the first thing. Second thing, be first in line. Vaughn know this, or maybe I'll say it for the record. Be first. Ask questions. Understand the difference between mental reps, which means you're standing in line watching the others, and active reps. And if the kid is ready to make a mistake, please don't walk up and make the same mistake he does. The coach goes, that kid's not listening. He's not locked in. That's not somebody we want in our program. You need them one rep yet. We don't know. Guys will tell you, we'll tell you, you're not going to get a lot of reps at college camps. So don't worry about how many reps you get. Make your reps count. If you only get 3 reps, great. And if whether you catch a ball or overthrow a ball or miss, show coaches effort, because it's going to happen in college. You're not going to have a pass break up or pick or catch every play. Other thing is, make sure you're asking coaches during the water break, hey coach, hey, am I doing this drill reps? I know how important footwork is, and I want to understand how you guys define footwork here at XYZ University. Anytime you can have a conversation with a coach, it's like in business. You're trying to take a lead to a contact, and a contact to a relationship. And we will tell you on this podcast that all recruiting and all commitments come down to one word that starts with R. Man, if you ask any kid, hey, why did you commit to Texas? Man, me and the coach developed a relationship. And that all starts with you opening your mouth, taking your earbuds out, and asking qualifying questions. Let the coach know, I'm not just a football player, coach. I'm a student athlete with goals, both on the field and off the field. I want to make those goals happen through this university with your program. So those are things you want to do during, and then afterwards, simple follow-up. As soon as you get it home, before you post up that you killed at the USC camp or whatever, thank you, hey, coach, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed my time today. Here are 2 things I learned in working with you. Every coach has an ego. Brush that ego. Tell them that you are appreciative of the experience that day, and you look forward to what the next steps are in the recruiting process. Always put a good close to action on what you do. So those are just some of the things you need to do in what we call the BDA process. What happens before the camp, what happens during the camp, what happens after the camp.
There are so many clips that I can get from that right there that I'm going to post singly on this page.
Oh, man.
So these kids will be able to watch this.
I think we could probably end the episode right there, man. That was fire.
I'm saying it's so informative.
Yeah, having a kid that's kind of gone through this process, you said so much there that I can personally relate to, but one of the things that you really mentioned that stood out to me is the relationship side of it. I think a lot of times kids nowadays, they seem, and this is just as a dad with a kid that goes to these camps, watching other dads and other kids interact with coaches in these camps, it's almost like they're more excited about being there, being seen, taking the pictures, getting the camp shirt, all the different cool stuff that comes with being at a camp versus the actual relationship side of it. I can't stress enough for the class of 2028, classes of 29, 30, as you're going to these camps, take what Mr. Williams just told you to heart and really own it. Build relationships. Relationships at the end of the day matter. I can speak from personal experience that when you have a coach that loves your son, that has built the relationship and it's reciprocated. The kid reciprocates in building that relationship. Those coaches will choose and want that kid over another kid that might be a little taller, might be a little faster, might be, a little bit more dialed in with his athleticism, whether it's wide receiver or linebacker, DB, whatever. A coach will prioritize a relationship with a slightly lesser talented kid than a kid that's got all the talent in the world, but there's no relationship there. I've seen it firsthand, and I just wanted to point that out because I think that can get overlooked. I know people talk about it a lot, but I don't think it's really stressed enough that you have to focus on that relationship. And everything that Mr. Williams just told you guys is everything that my kids has done, and it pays off in the long run. A lot of work. What Mr. Williams just laid out, it's not a quick fix. It's not a 5-second here, 5 second there. You got to put time, you've got to put effort in it. As you're looking at these camps, you have got to research, like Mr. Williams said, the degrees, understand what they're going to offer you from an academic side of it. As an athlete, you've got to fall in love with the school's academics just as much as you fall in love with the athletic side of it. And you have to choose a school that is going to fit you and your personality, from whether it's engineering, whether it's kinesiology, like Mr. Williams said, all of those things. You've got to play into, what that's going to look like for you after life. I loved how you phrased it. It's a 40-year decision, not a 4-year decision. So, man, that's good stuff. Really
I
good stuff.
appreciate the confirmation. Thanks.
There's going to be a lot of clips, Ant, that you're going to see posted on there from what you just said. That's some valuable
No doubt.
information.
No doubt.
In your clips that you just said, it was something that we've talked about on the sideline numerous times. I've been on the sideline with this man for years, picking his brain and talking football. And there's one thing that I had an experience with a parent. I'll say about this was last season. This statement is for you, Anthony, and I want you to touch bases on this because you'll feel the same way I feel. I hate the most in all the years I've been scouting and everything else for a kid to come up and say, I'm going D1 or bust, or a parent says, I'm going D1 or bust. What do you say to an athlete that has the mindset that he is only going to accept or talk to D1 coaches?
Great question. I know this is going to sound familiar. You know, I've talked about this, like you said, many times. I'm an engineer of football. That allowed me to get my engineering degree, allowed me to get my master's. So I'm a numbers guy. So let me just counter that saying with this. This is numbers now. 1 million high school football athletes in the country every year. 1 million. 7% will play some level of college football. D1, D2, D3, and the JUCO. 7%. Around 5% will play Power 4, D1, anywhere from 3 to 5%. 1% of that 3% will play in the NFL. And if you look at those numbers, you can break that down any way you want to. But what that tells me at this age now, and this was when I was young, you have a better chance of being the CEO at Apple than you have playing in the NFL, or Google, or Tesla, or Microsoft. So the D1 bust attitude is a focus. I'm trying to use my hands in the video here. Instead of being like this, you've now made your focus like this. D1 football, I know it sounds good. Yes. Well, let me stick from fact here. I was a JUCO guy and I was a D2 guy. Yes, did I want to play D1? I was supposed to go to Michigan. That's another long story. But hey, I went JUCO. I went D2. It still didn't stop me from having a cup of coffee in the league. And I got my engineering degree. But in today's world, the D1 or bust mentality is even less successful because of the transfer portal and because of NIL. So let's think of this in layman's terms. Football 101 for all these parents and players. You said that think that way. I'm the GM of a team now because they have GM, isn't the head coach the GM now? And they're going to say, okay, hey, we need a left tackle. We could take a kid out of high school and hope he's ready in a year as a redshirt freshman, or we could take that left tackle who just left UTSA with 20 starting games on his pocket. Who should we go with? Who would anybody go with 9 out of 10? I'm going, knowing I'm going to keep my job and win games and get the ball games and keep boosters happy and the athletic department. I'm going to go with the transfer portal. We may still take that high school kid, but we know he's probably not going to be productive enough to play against grown but men like in Indiana that had 6 starters over 26 years old. We'll probably look at him for probably 2 years down the road. We can win now, so we'll go with transfer portal kid. So that alone has nothing to do with your son's athletic ability, his transcript, his goals, D1, but it's about we need to win now, so I'm here by the time there's 7 plays. So to sum it all up, the D1 or bust mentality, strategy, idea is a bad idea because you are limiting your opportunities and your options. Here's a better attitude. I can go somewhere where I can ball out and use the transfer portal to my advantage as a redshirt freshman or as a sophomore. So if you're, I hear a lot of kids, Coach, I'm looking at Texas and A&M and SMU, UTSA. Okay, well, what if they don't come? What you gonna do? You just gonna sit around? No, you need to stay in contact with Trinity and UIW and Texas State. And
there it is.
I mean, guys, let's be real. I'm here I go. I see if I get in trouble. There is the circle of life. There is a food chain in college football. Texas State, my boy GJ down there doing a great job. He knows he can't compete against a kid who thinks, I'm going to Texas. So most CS D2 schools, they got to fall back because they know that kid thinks he's going to Texas. So until he knows and finds out he's not going to Texas, I can't spend recruiting dollars on him because my budget is only this, whereas Texas budget is too big for my hands showing the screen right now. So there is a pecking order. So if you're a prospect and I'm not saying kill dreams. You want to go to Texas, make that your goal. But if GJ and Texas State calls, for example, you might want to listen because that might be your only option. And in recruiting, it's about options. It isn't like before in the day when we talk about it, and a recruiting class was 25, 30 high school kids. 25, 30, maybe a JUCO or 2, but it was mostly high school. Those days are over. Gone. They're done. It's not going back. We can get out the bottle and going back in. The transfer portal is real. It's just like free agency in the NFL. All the NFL fans. So it's the same thing. The minute you can be more proactive and put your son or daughter in another sport and understand that use the transfer portal to your advantage. Go where you can go. Forget about the D, whatever number you after 1, 2, or 3 or NAIA. Go somewhere, ball out, get the stats up, and then have one of those schools go. We weren't interested in you after high school, but now that you're going to put up 13 sacks and 6 TFLs as an edge rusher, man, we're very interested now because that's a movement in our team right now. So that's why the D is nothing against the kid, the ability. Could that kid be D1? I always tell kids this: you may think you're D1, but if a D1 coach doesn't think that, guess what? You're not a D1 kid. And it isn't based on your athletic ability, your stats, your huddle video, any of that. It could be, RL, you're a great quarterback, but we took 2 quarterbacks in our last class. So we're looking at moving you to a slot receiver or a nickel. Are you interested? No? Okay, well, then we're going to move on. Kids, here's my hand. This is what we talk about with connected athletics, when we consult families. Are you a position player or are you a football player? Because if you're a football player, you're going to have more options. You may be a 4-year starter playing quarterback at Brandeis. But some schools will be like, you know what? We're good at quarterback right now. We're willing to look you at linebacker or nickel or as a safety. And with that comes with every player should be like, coach, if you're paying for my education, I'm a football player. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get on the field. And if I can get back to my primary position down the road, great. If not, I'm getting my education. Compared to, coach, come on, you know I'm a running back. You know I put it down. No, I'm a running back. Okay, yep. That's right, Joey. We're moving on to Stevie up at Cedar Hill or over to Duncan. Do you want a bus? Not a good strategy. If you keep it, you are limiting your options.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah, that's another clip that we can clip and put on there. It's like I hate that, especially when parents are feeding that into kids. And you know, I'm gonna keep it real. I hate it when parents feed that into kids, and I see a lot of it on youth football as well. They feed into these kids. These kids get that mindset that like you said, it's just a big school. Oh, I'm gonna go to Texas. Mind you, you see that back there, Adam? You see that, Adam?
Yes, something.
I just want Adam to see it so he knows. But just so you know, parents, it's not that. You can be the greatest running back your high school has seen, and when you get to that college campus or you're getting recruited, and that coach says, you know what? I need a DB. I need you to be over here on this side of the ball. Like you said, are you going to be that football player, that athlete? Or are you going to say, nah, you know what? Another thing I wanted to touch on with that, Anthony, with you on the phone, you on here, is also kids. Don't sit there and shrug your shoulders at coaches that are contacting you from lower schools. Yep. You never know. 2 years down the line, when that coach gets promoted and he's now at another school and he remembers how you treated him when he was calling you and checking on you and doing all that stuff, and you shunned him because, he was at a D3 school or he was at an NAIA school. Now he's at a D1 school that you're looking to go to. But
you hit it right on the head right there, man. I was gonna
to bring some reality. All right, that's a great point. The coaching circle, as big as people think it is, it's very small. Yep. All the coaches know I can be a great linebacker coach for UTSA, and no matter what, something happens and I'm out of a job. Coaches are constantly creating relationships with other guys. In case I don't have a job, I can call RL, I can call Matt and be like, hey, you guys need a linebacker coach. So the guy that you burn a bridge with at school A is now the DC at school B that you want to go to. You don't think, I'm just telling you, coaches have egos and they don't forget. We're like elders, we don't forget. No. And that's why it shocks me. You talk about D1 or bus. What shocks me is commitment day. USC, just disrespecting programs that spent a lot of money and time and resources. And guess what? That guy that's working for Lincoln Riley might be the quarterback coach at that school. He's going to remember that you disrespected him on national TV.
Yep.
There is I don't know why, I'm a sorry OG here. I don't know why it became influential on social media to be disrespectful. Whether it be the players, officials, coaches, parents, fans, on social media, whatever. That limits your options. The young players, be respectful of your opponents, your players, because coaches love that. And in the real world, outside of football and inside, people love people that have high integrity, high character, and are fun and good to be around. The guys are like, hey, I can do whatever I want, say what I want, treat people the way I want. Going back to your point, RL, if you're going to be if you consider yourself a D1 athlete, you got to act D1 in the classroom, the place, in the weight room, before practice, in the film room, after practice. D1 ain't something you flip on a Friday night or Saturday afternoon. How you do anything is how you do everything. It's one of my favorite things my dad taught me. So you may think you're D1, but I don't think a lot of these kids, and that's why I do my camp, RL. We have a day in the life camp that we do. It shows you're up at 5. You're lifting before the sun even comes up. Then you're going to eat. then go to school, and then have film, position meetings, team meetings, and then go out and practice. And then once that's over, we're going to eat there, and then have study hall. And by the time we look at it's 10 o'clock, ain't no girls, ain't hanging out the student union, ain't no pledging. Football is your full-time job, especially with the transport up now. Well, I'm paying you money? NIL? No, I don't want to hear no piece about getting my girlfriend got an argument. Or I ain't feel her today. Well, we give you $3.8 million. I need you to be a leader and get out there and do it on the days if you don't feel it. So there's a lot of layers to what you have to talk to that these kids really have no idea about. So lastly, if you think you D1, be D1 in everything you do.
You know, Anthony, you said it perfectly, and it goes back to relationships. You know, that coach that you shun, that is a quarterback or offensive coordinator, you go to another school, that school that you commit to and that you're playing football for 6 months, a year down the road, that coach that you shunned might very well be your next offensive coordinator, might very well be your next wide receivers coach, might very well be your next GA. And because you shunned him, guess what he's now doing? He's in the coach's office talking about what you did back then. And now guess what? You may lose your scholarship. You may lose your roster spot because of how you treated that gentleman, you know, 2-3 years prior, because he was at a school that you didn't like. And now, listen, scholarships are not a 4-year guarantee.
Nope.
Scholarships are earned every day, day in, day out, like you were just talking about. If you want to go D1, you got to be D1. You got to act D1 in all aspects of life. And you have to earn that scholarship day in and day out. It's just like a wedding ring. Just because you get married, it don't mean the job's over. You gotta keep you gotta keep working. It's just starting when that ring goes on. Same way with the scholarship. When you sign that national letter of intent, you're locked in. The work is just beginning.
Yep.
And you brought up another good point. I had a conversation recently with a coach that my son's going to go play for, and I've been trying to prepare not just my kid but other kids that I'm involved with about what college football is going to be like. Because let's just face it, Texas high school football is awesome. We have the best high school football anywhere in the country. We have incredible coaches. We have incredible programs. You've got programs that have dedicated strength and conditioning coaches. You have programs that have dedicated recruiting coordinators, the whole 9 yards. But let's be honest, there's no level of high school football that will prepare you for what you're going to walk into whenever you go play college football. The conversation with the coach that I had this last couple weeks ago was about the schedule. And he's like, listen, you guys have done a great job raising your kid, but I need you to understand what it's going to be like when he walks in here. I want him to understand, as an early graduate going from high school in December to freshman in college, he's going to be walking in from being the big man on campus, the low man on the totem pole, and he's going to be getting up at 5 a.m. He'll have breakfast at 5:30 that's mandatory. He'll have workouts that start at 6. He'll go from 6 to 8 doing workouts. Then we'll go to position meeting rooms from, 8:30. Then he'll go to classes. Our class block is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then he has to report back to athletics, the field house or whatever, at 3 p.m.
Yep.
We have lifting from 3 to 4:30. We have practice from 4:30 to 6:30. Then we have film again from 6:30 to 7:30. Then in the same building that you're doing football in, we have our team room turns into academic hall, study hall.
Yep.
And you have mandatory study hall from 7:30 to 8:30. And then you go back and you go to the cafeteria, get your dinner and any snacks that you want. And then you wake up and do it all over again. And it's off season, it's 6 days a week. During the season, it's 7 days a week. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
It's no joke. And it all boils down to relationships. If you have a great relationship with people, the hard stuff becomes easy.
Yep.
Right. Next question I got for you, Ant, is when you're speaking to recruits, what are some of the key things, and I know we've touched on this already, but I want to punch this over and get this over to kids especially. When speaking to recruits, what are some of the key things that athletes need to look at when choosing a school? Not just like you said, I'm not going just for the color scheme or they made a bowl game or always got a winning record or whatever. No. What is it that these kids really need to look at when choosing a school?
Number one, fit over clout. Yeah, it looks good, man. I'm going to take you for you ain't playing. I was at Texas practice. I got a lot of friends on the staff there, obviously, with my son going there. Those kids, they move and look different. And I think a lot of kids kind of forget that. Like, hey, you're a 5'8", nothing against 5'8". You're a 5'8", 160-pound running back. Go look at Texas' team who have some kids who should be seniors in high school right now who are actually going to play college football. There's no 5'8" guys out there. So the first thing I tell them is fit over cloud. Make sure A, there's an academic fit. B, it's a regional fit. What I mean by that is, do you want to stay close to home? Because some of these kids think they ready to leave their mamas.
Yeah.
And they not. Oh, coach, I'm ready to go anywhere. Yeah, until you find no wherever in New York. Or there's no Rubens in Southern California, or whatever
or
it is.
17 degrees in the wintertime.
Exactly. Going to Mitchell, playing the Big 1G, who's won the last 3 conference championships. I mean, so make sure you pick your school based on, you know what you like. You know what it takes for you to be happy as a student athlete. Gotta have me, whatever, just little things, but gotta be serious. If you want to doubt one, I don't think you guys ever been nothing against Oklahoma State. Love the program, got a lot of friends there. If you ain't never been to Stillwater, ain't a lot going on in Stillwater. It ain't like, it ain't like College Station, where College Station's kind of blown up and has infrastructure now.
Yeah.
You gotta learn.
College Station's college town or not? Yep.
I always tell them, and our other talk about time of sidelines. I know we knew a couple kids that came into a school and had them taken to visit them. And we're like, bruh, have you ever been out to Notre Dame, Indiana? It's like 7 degrees in the water. It's 7 degrees right now, and it's April. Oh no, guys, I got no the big time program. I'm like, you need to go there, check it out.
Yeah.
Make sure you pick a school, and you should have a list of things that are going to make you happy. Obviously, the academics, the football, infrastructure, the culture, the demographics. Maybe you're from the hood, maybe from the country. I don't know, but be prepared that wherever you go, it's going to be a melting pot. Yep. So those are certain things I think fit over cloud. Don't worry about what you're going to post on social media about where you're committing to or where you're getting offers from. Post on, this school is the best fit for me academically, socially, mentally, emotionally, and most importantly, for my future, because I want to be a dentist, doctor, engineer one day. So that's number one. Number two, learn how to network. We've already talked about that, but not with coaches now, relationships. You go to these events, talk about camps earlier. Go make relationship. Take those headphones off and go have a conversation with that receiver that you don't have office from Ohio State in Texas and ask him, hey, have they done with their class? Hey, what are you doing in your workouts? Is something you hey, kid, iron sharpens iron. What did you do with your 7 offense? I don't have any yet. Start to develop relationships with fellow players. It's the greatest fraternity there is. And we are more apt, just on that point, when you go to these camps, when you go to these junior events, or you go to spring practice, talk to the coaches one thing, set up where you talk to the players, because they won't keep it real with you. Like, hey, how's Coach Williams when he's done around? And usually players do this. Coach Williams done around. Keep it real. Those guys
conversation gonna get real. Yep.
Man, coaches, he likes to MF guys and dead. And some of them get tired of them, or this or that. Start to collect data that will help you make a correct and proactive decision. Don't make a decision based on, I'm not gonna go there for 1 year, and then if it doesn't work out, let's go to transfer portal. We've seen kids go in portal. I saw a little skit on TikTok. You guys will all see the NFL football where it's come out. Hey, Anthony Williams starting left guard for the Baltimore Ravens. He's from Boston College. A couple years from now, it's going to be, hey, Anthony Williams. Well, I started at Texas, and then I went to A&M, and then I went to BYU, and I finished up at Southwest Missouri State. So keep those things in mind, that you want to be somewhere where you want, I always say this is something I'm from background. Pick your school based on where you want your degree from. So no matter what, a lot of kids, I'm picking it based on my coach. Guess what? I've been a coach. And if I'm the guy, my coach at Texas, get paid X. And then the San Francisco 49ers come out for me, why, to go coach linebackers at that level, I got to do what's best for my family. I know what I said during the recruiting process, but I got to take care of mine. So if you pick your school based on your coach and he leaves, where does that leave you? I know it sounds cliches, but I'm just going to say it again. Pick your school based on, no matter what happens on the football field, that's where I want my degree fund to set me up for the next 40 years of my life, and not for the next 1, 2, or 3 years of my life. Those are just a couple things that I will tell parents and players that as you go through the recruiting process, have a criteria set up. This is what I like, this is what I don't like, and these are some areas that I'm kind of 50-50. And these are no runners. If it doesn't have this, I'm not going there. And that will help me put together a realistic list to start targeting, to start forming relationships.
One thing I loved was I went on an official visit with a kid up to San Diego State, and they actually had their meetings and everything like that. And then they had a time where the recruit left and went with the players. You're going to go see the dorms. You're going to go hang out here. You're going to go get something to eat. You're going to do that time with them so they can have that one-on-one time, like you said, where they have those conversations away from the coach, where they can be real. Be like, man, this ain't no joke. We got this. But that is part of the recruiting that they needed to see is once they got away from everybody, network. Get with those athletes. Hey, how many offers did you have? Hey, well, what did you do? Oh, you're in the room with me? Okay, tell me what it is that you did. How do you like the coaching style that's going on up here? It's a lot of different questions that you can ask from that point as well. Well, Anthony, my last question I got for you, I'm gonna get a little personal.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it down to Central and South Texas. What are your thoughts, recruiting wise, on the San Antonio, South Texas area? Now, we know North and Dallas, DFW, Houston, Texas have been heavily recruited. Do you feel that the chain is starting to, I guess you could say where the eyes are starting to become more on Central and South Texas than they have been in, say, the past 5 years?
Honestly, no. I talked to a lot of college coaches across the country, and they all say the same thing. Yo, yeah, we recruit Texas. What they really mean is, yeah, we recruit Dallas and Houston. And sometimes I mean Austin, and definitely not East or West Texas. Because of, this is now gets into the economics, because of the recruiting budget and how much money we have. Because flying in DFW, no problem. Flying to Georgia, no problem. I can get my car and see 10 schools. But if I'm going down to South Texas, sometimes you can be Austin, but going down to South Texas, and I'm only going to see 1 or 2 kids because there's just not as many top kids to make that recruiting trip feasible from an economic standpoint. If they don't have a strong reference, they're still not going to go down there. And it's just a matter of the number of scholarship pack players are there. Dallas, you can throw a rock and hit 10 of them in one area. Dublinville, Lancaster, South Carolina, whatever.
Adam, we just talked about that.
That's not the case when you go down to Edinburgh or Corpus or even South San Antonio. So it comes down to feasibility, budget, and am I going to maximize our investment there and come out of there with 2 or 3 guys? But if I'm only going out to see 1 or 2, it's not like back in the day when there was just kind of no budget at all. It's like, okay, I'll get a car, and I'll fly into San Antonio. I got to drive 3 hours here, there, all the way back around to maybe find a couple kids where I can go to Houston, 3 hours away or 4 hours away, and pick up probably 12 possible kids. It's just a numbers thing. So for those families that are in those areas, you have to say, A, it is what it is. Unless we're going to move, it is what it is. So you have to really have a strong approach and strategy to get your kids exposed to those kids, because most of those kids are going to have to go to those coaches, because knowing the coaches are not going to come to them. It's that simple.
I can attest to that. I live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We live in a 4A community just on the east side of McKinney. And when I was the chaplain at Denton Braswell, there was a college coach that was standing on the sidelines watching a couple of our kids that are actually have been on a previous episode. And I was asking him, I was like, so, like, do you guys have a strategy when you come to DFW, or you guys just kind of wing it? Because I didn't know much about recruiting process. And he was like, no, like, we'll fly into DFW and there's 3 DFW area recruiters because it's such a large area. We'll rent a car. And he's like, me, I flew into DFW. I came to Denton and I started on the south side of Denton. I hit Denton Geyer, I hit Argyle Liberty Christian. Then I came over to Denton Ryan, Denton High. Now I'm at Denton Braswell. And then I'm going to finish up my day over in Little Elm, hitting Little Elm High School. And then tomorrow I'm going to start my day over in Prosper. I'm going to go to Rock Hill. I'm going to go to Prosper High. I'm going to go to McKinney. I'm going to go to McKinney Boyd. And he just listed off like 15 schools within a 20-mile radius of, and he's got a list of athletes that he's checking in on at every single school. And that was eye-opening to me. And then, you got Division II schools that are starting to hit the road recruiting just as much as you got D1 schools. Yeah. And they follow the same trajectory and the same path where they'll, to maximize their budgets, they'll come in and they'll, like for us, we're in a small community, so they'll go to Rockwall and then they'll come up our highway that comes through our town. And because we're a smaller school, we have more D2 style athletes. So they'll come up, hit us, then they'll go up to Blue Ridge, they'll go over to Melissa, then they'll go up to Anna, they'll go up to Sherman, and then they'll cut over to like Gunner and Carolina, some of the smaller schools that are outside of the purview of the bigger 6A and 5A programs.
Yeah. Our location you talked about isn't just South Texas; it's also West Texas. Yeah, there are only so many Odessas in the Midlands and Lovett's and schools like that out that way. So literally, it's just about you just outlined it perfectly. Who's
East Texas?
Coaches when they go visit, it's the GAs, because they're breaking down the film. Coach, here's your list of the top 25 quarterbacks in the area. Okay, here's your map. You get your rent and then so that's the first level. Second level is the coach has contacts, has people that he trusts in his network. They can say, hey, make sure when you're down here, make sure you swing by see Clyde over at the soda. He's got a couple kids. So then that list gets added to that. And then it's just a matter of some coach will tell, hey, there's a kid over at XYZ school. If that's under the plan, you need to go see him. That kid's going to be a monster edge rusher. So those are the 3 things that make it up. And so once again, to what you just outlined, that's not happening in South San Antonio or South Texas. You might see 2 or 3 schools, Corpus Christi, Ray, maybe Holland, a couple other ones. That's it. There's not a lot down there. So it's tough.
We were just having this conversation. It's like that. It's like when you're going south of San Antonio, it's like you'll have 1 kid at this school, You may have one kid that's 100 and some miles away. Then you got another kid that's one athlete, maybe 100 miles down there. So they're so far spread between. It's not like you're going to a school and see 3 or 4 athletes. So it's kind of hard to do that. And then when you get to competing against Houston, against Austin, against DFW, and they're looking at these kids, it's like, if you're not putting yourself out there to be recognized, if you don't know somebody who is actually promoting you, if you're not doing it yourself, it's just hard to be seen. It is hard to be seen. And that's why I love the fact that, and I'll get on my soapbox here for a second. I'm gonna put Anthony on the soapbox, is that I can reach out to Ant and I can let him know, hey, have you seen this kid? I've heard about him, real deal.
Yep.
Or we'll be at the All-American camp and I'll be like, hey, All-American Combine, and we're looking at a kid here. It's like, hey, yeah, this kid here. He's like, oh yeah, I seen it. But it's all about getting out there and putting yourself out. Like you said, when you get to those camps and stuff, that's your opportunity. Put yourself on the map.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's what I love. I'm blessed to be part of the Combine. Going out there and seeing some kid that every year we've been out together. And who's that kid? He's from where? We bring out our Google Map. Where is that at? The kid is just killing these 4 and 5 star kids. And then all of a sudden I'm getting calls like, hey, we heard there's a kid. Yeah, this kid, Joe Smith from South Lubbock or whatever. And he's down here killing these 4 and 5 stars. And they show that kid's blowing up. He gets rivals by or on 24/7, whatever it is. I love that because those are the kids and the ones who are like, hey, you know what? They may not come to me, so I'm going there. But I'm going to come, I'm going to be prepared. And I'm going to go and visit all these other top guys, show guys, you don't know who I am or where I'm at, but I'm going to put my name, I want to put my name on your board. And that's what happened. That's what gave me small kids. So I love, don't get me wrong, I love the 4 and 5 star kids. We know a lot of them. But I love the underclass because I was one.
Love it.
That's it.
I
was a JUCO kid. I was the D2 kid. And, the process is so changing. So there are still opportunities. And the thing that they have an advantage of lasting over the kids from Dallas and Houston is saturation. Coach like, hey, there's body kids here. And so you may take a kid that, you know what, ooh, I kind of over-evaluated him. But man, that kid from down in Corpus Christi, man, that kid is so.
Yeah. Well, man, I want to thank you so much for your time, man. I know you're a busy man, but I want to thank you so much for getting on here with us and giving some darn key.
I'm saying yes, you know that about me.
That's my brother. I appreciate that very much.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure. It's been a joy. Mr. Williams, can't thank you enough for your time. Everybody understands time is valuable, and this has been gold. So all you parents out there that are going to watch this, student athletes, I hope that you have a notebook and a pencil and that you've been taking some notes, because he's been dropping some knowledge and some fire and very valuable information that will definitely help you as you navigate this journey that you're on, because everybody's on a journey.
If there's any parents or players that feel like, hey, that's good information and want kind of more, we are not, my company, me and my boys put together Connect Athletics, we're not a recruiting service. We like to say that we like to help families navigate the entire athletic journey and ecosystem. And so we're not just there for the recruiting process. We're there for after you commit to a college and transition. Now we want to make sure you're successful in college. Most recruiting services, once you commit, we're on that sophomore. And done. We want to make sure kids, because we all 3 of us know, we all know kids from back in the day that it busted their knee, got an injury, and it was like, hey, whatever happened to that kid? Didn't get his degree, struggled in life. So we want to make sure that, because we know a lot of guys that should have made it, that didn't handle things the right way. So we're there for the early part before recruiting, during recruiting, and more importantly after it. And then after they graduate, if you want to have a career in athletics, we can help, because we have a lot of athletes who are the GMs and the VP of operations for supply communities and this and that. And if you want to have a career in athletics, that's something we're looking at. So Connect Athletics is really focused on helping kids be successful throughout the entire journey and helping them manage the ecosystem.
How can they find that information on your Connected Athletics?
Yeah, just go to connectedathletics.org. You can have set up a free consultation. We'll sit down and talk to you about what your plan is and how we think we can help. And if it's a match, great. If it's not, we're going to bless you and wish you well and move on from there. It's very, very simple. It's more of a ministry than anything else.
And y'all have a camp coming up, don't you?
July 11th, yes, here in Maynard, right outside of Austin here. We'll do another, to McAmee's point earlier, day in the life of a college athlete. Camp starts at 8 a.m. We get done at 5 o'clock, and we go through what he talked about earlier. Classes, workouts, weight room, film study, installs, get up on the whiteboard, go out in the field, film it, come back in, break it down, go back out, webinars on NIL, transfer portal, mental health, financial literacy, whole 9 taxes, the whole 9. So July 11th at Maynard New Tech. If you go to the connectathletics.org website, the information alerts are there. And the good part is we only allow 100 kids, because you can't teach that to 300 kids. So it's the first 100 kids that sign up, and we're going to take it to a full day, and they'll leave there knowing exactly what college life is going to look like. Because most of these kids, to your point earlier, have no idea what that grind looks like.
Yep. That's awesome. How can everybody find you on social media that doesn't already follow you?
Very simple. I'm the same on X and IG. A Williams USA. A Williams USA on IG and X and IG.
Awesome. Well, this wraps up second part of our recruiting episodes, and you have gotten some fire tonight. So we want to thank you for tuning in to Between the Hashes, our Texas high school football podcast. And until next time, make it a great one.
All right, guys.
Between the Hashes.
Absolutely.
Appreciate you, Ant.
See you.
Oh, sorry. Give them.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Friday night, Texas sky, we lit, house packed out, whole town in it, pace crash hard, heartbeat sink. This that show that make you think. Under them lights, we don't play, we ball. From the small town fields to the big state calls, we talk rivalries, legends, up next kings, breakdowns, hot takes, all them rings. Turn it up, don't miss this drive. Texas high school dreams so loud, so loud, so loud. You tuned in now, right that way. This the part they crave every Friday. Welcome to the show where the big